Okay, today we're talking about CJSansom's Heartstone. Should you read it? Should you give it a pass? Okay, I am a fan of the Shard Lake series of books. Forget the terrible TV series. I'm talking about the books here, which are fantastic. And this is, I think, the 5th book in the series. But this is the first one that I very nearly did not finish. And that's not because it's a bad book, but it is really slow to get going. If you know the Matthew Shard Lake series, and by the way, kudos for having a character named Matthew, top tier name right there, you will know that he is a hunchback lawyer and he operates in the time of Henry VIII. And these are detective mystery thrillers set in that historical fiction background. So it's a kind of mix of historical fiction and detective mystery, basically. And this book has Matthew doing a favor for Catherine Parr, who is Henry VIII's last wife, I think. I guess that makes him the 6th. So she's trying to, keep her head around her husband, if you know what I mean. She asked Matthew to do her a favor and look into a fairly low-level kind of possible crime. At the start, the stakes don't seem very high. There's not a lot of hook for me there. So I actually put this book down for a long time, maybe a year, and then I went back on some CJSansom Facebook groups and asked them, should I finish this? And of course they said, yeah. But they sold me on why. They did give me reasons. So I picked it up again, and I'm glad I did. Because although it is a slow-boiling thriller, it does get quite intriguing. In fact, it is Byzantium. It is labyrinthine. There are plots within plots, concentric circles of things going on. And I honestly didn't see how the character could possibly resolve them all and bring everything to a conclusion. I also couldn't see how everything was connected. I could not see who the villains were until they were revealed. Always in a detective story, it's really a duel between the reader and the writer. Can I guess who the bad guy is before you reveal it? And of course, the bad guy or the bad guys are going to be on display somewhere in the early part of the novel, or at least mentioned. There are no spoilers here, don't worry, I'm not going to reveal anything. But, I could not spot what was going on. And what you really want to feel at the end is like, oh, yes, I should have seen that. It was right there in front of me the whole time. I did feel this was quite a complicated thriller, a mystery, and maybe people who are more experienced in reading this genre would be able to spot what was going on. I just couldn't. So when it was revealed, I was like, okay. Yeah, I probably wasn't going to guess that. But anyway, it is all brought to an amazing, satisfying conclusion. And for extra historical frisson, the French are about to invade, and Matthew Shard Lake is in the danger zone in the south of England where it's all going to happen. And there is the Mary Rose, which is Henry VIII's famous flagship that was raised from the depths, and you can go and see that. I think it's in Portsmouth now. But yeah, the Mary Rose is featured heavily, and that was pretty cool seeing that warship in action. I can't say too much more because I'd get into spoiler territory, but if you like slow burning, very complicated mystery thrillers, and you like the period, this is definitely a recommendation. So I'd give it 4 out of 5 stars, probably just because at the start it is quite slow and didn't seem to have that many hooks to keep me going. But it did really metastasize, I think is the right word, into something quite deep and complex and quite intriguing, and I was pretty hooked towards the end. So that is CJSansom's Heartstone. Add your comments below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Is this a book that you have read? Is this a book you would like to read? Let me know.